It's hard not to groove to it.
You have to. That's why we like to start off the show this way. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome once again to the Fox Valley Voice, the only live YouTube talk show dedicated to the fun people, places, and events going on in and around the Fox Valley. My name is Jaime Gutierrez, and I am your host. And I am very happy to welcome to the studio today Ms. Pun Intended. What's up? Thanks for coming out. And you are one of the skaters in the Aurora 88s Roller Derby League.
I am indeed.
And we are going to chat about what's going on with the 88s. So, thank you for those of you who are watching and listening. If you would like to submit any questions or comments, we certainly welcome that. You can do that on our Facebook page at facebook.com/Fox Valley Voice. Or if you're watching us on YouTube, go ahead and make a comment underneath the video, and we will see that, and we will we'll get that on the air for you. But welcome once again, and let's talk a little bit about you personally. And first of all, I had to read your derby name out loud before I actually got it.
Right.
So that was good.
Yeah. Thanks.
Yeah.
Actually, I actually won best derby name of the league this year.
Oh,
thank you very much. Thank
all
you to my
right.
teammates for voting me that.
Let's talk a little bit about derby names, because that's kind of like the one of the first things that people think of when they think about roller derby is the fun names that you guys give yourselves. How important is that for
It's huge.
for a derby?
It's huge. It's your whole persona. I started out with the name Brown Sugar, and it didn't quite fit me. I started out in a non-rec league derby, like exercise class. I don't know if you know what Derby Light is.
Yeah, absolutely.
But everybody was calling me Sugar, and it was kind of like, yeah. So it was a little too squeaky clean for me. So I didn't really like that. And it took me a while to come up with my name. I was kind of tossing around names. I was working on the whole, I'm biracial. So I was kind of thinking, well, maybe I could go with that route. I was trying to think of things that I like to do. And my husband was like, well, maybe you should go with like some kind of a, play on names, play on words, like an intentional pun. And I'm like, oh, like a pun intended, and so my name kind of stuck that way.
Yeah,
that's where we came up with it.
Very creative.
So yeah.
And so you said that the brown sugar was too squeaky clean for you.
Yeah.
Why do you say that? Do you have?
I didn't like being called Sugar. It was just too like, I don't know. I wanted something a little more bruiser, a little more.
Yeah.
And then pun isn't. But I would go to bouts, and I'd hear people with like we have a girl on our team named Banger, and then we had a girl on our team named Basher. And, just Rough McGruff, and just fun names that are a little more like, I don't know, beat 'em up kind of girl names.
Yeah.
And I wanted something like that, and then I ended up with pun.
So do you feel like your derby persona is it very similar to your everyday
I do. And it's
persona?
funny because
some are really different, right? Like
they really
some
are.
girls are really shy and sweet off the track, but then you get them out there and then they're ready to kill somebody, right?
It's very true. Some girls' names have nothing to do with who they are or what they represent. I feel like I'm kind of a joker. I kind of like to make wisecracks. Mine suits me, and it's actually people come to me for names a lot.
Okay, so you're like a name generator.
I have become that, ironically, and I don't know where or how I was dubbed that, but I've sort of grown into my name. Mm-hmm. So,
have you thought up of any names after the pun intended that you said, oh man, I wish I could have that one now?
No, but other people have tried to give me names, and I keep saying, no, I'm pun.
Okay.
I'm going to stay with what I've grown into. So,
excellent. So, how did you? So you said you started out in Derby Light.
I did.
And that was more of a skills building and exercise.
Yeah, I started that actually April Fool's Day, 2013.
Okay.
And it was a lot of fun. It was a great exercise.
Had you skated much before that?
As a kid. And then, like when I was in college, I used to inline on like the paths.
Mm-hmm.
But other than that, I hadn't really skated. And, as a mom, I needed to get out of the house, and I just was looking for something for, like an opportunity to mix it up a little with some other women. And a friend of mine, a neighbor, I knew that had done some derby. I asked her, what was that derby thing you were doing? And she's like, I was on a league, but you might want to try this first.
Mm-hmm.
And so I did. And after a little while of, paying the class fees, I felt like it was a little bit redundant for me.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought, well, why don't I look into some of these actual derby teams and see what that's all about.
Mm-hmm.
And I wanted the taste of the competition. And I started, checking out some of the leagues and seeing what they were about. And I found my home with the Aurora 88s.
Yeah.
So.
You were ready to take it to the next level.
I was. I just wanted to see what it was like. And I did. I went to see the DuPage Derby Dames play. And I went and checked out the outfit. I went and checked out the Windy City Rollers. And I went and looked at the 88s. And they just felt like home for me. And I thought I'd try out there. So I did.
It's a great group of girls. And we should say that originally we were going to also have in the studio with us this morning Stormin Stella.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, she's a little less than 100% today, so she's watching from home.
Feel
Hi,
better,
Stella.
Love you.
And we did have a comment earlier from Michelle Meyer at Mutual Ground saying that Storm and Stella is very active in the community and as well as are the 88s. So we're going to get back to that a little bit later about some of the stuff you guys do off the track. But let's talk a little bit about what it takes to be a derby girl.
Okay.
Because I imagine it's not for everybody.
It can be.
It can be? Okay.
Well, if you're a girl.
Well,
over
okay.
18.
So step one, you have to be a female over the age of 18. That's fair.
Or identify as a female over the age of 18.
Okay. So you guys are open to various interpretations, okay, and orientations. So what would you say? So say you're out in the community and a woman walks up to you and says, I haven't skated since I was in school, but this is really interesting to me. So what do I need to do, or what type of person do you feel is successful in derby?
I think anybody can do this. I was at the park yesterday and I saw a mom on a scooter, and she had two little boys with her, and they were on their bikes, and they were like, "Ooh, wow! Look at the lady with the helmet on the skates." And I was like, "Hey, we're having tryouts this June. Come on out." And she was like, "Wait, what? What is this all about?" And I said, "I play roller derby," and I told her what the Aurora 88s were about. And her little boys were looking at me like, "Wow, this lady's like a Martian from outer space with this helmet." And I stopped and I talked to them and I told them a little bit about what roller derby was. And I said, you guys want your mom to play roller derby, right? And they were kind of looking at me. They were like 3, 4. They didn't really know what I was talking about. But the mom, I don't know that she'd ever really considered playing roller derby or even knew what roller derby was. But I might have piqued her interest.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm pretty sure that after she left the park that night, she probably went and looked at our Facebook page. So whether she comes to a tryout or not, she probably is now a follower of ours on Facebook. Yeah. But I think anybody, you might not be a great skater. It's something that you can come to one of our 101 nights and just get some information on. We have an amazing training team. Our trainers can take you from being a basic skater to the level of skills that you need. And if they don't think that you're ready, they'll say, hey, we're going to take you back and we're going to start you in the next group of skaters, and we're going to, let you try out again. They're not going to push anybody and get anybody into a position where they get hurt. Mm-hmm. So, they take the time and they watch and they groom the skaters so that they can, become skaters that are eligible, because we do have to pass a certain set of required basic skills that are set by the Women's Flat Track organization. Mm-hmm. So it's pretty much anybody can do it, but it takes time, and it's through a basic skills training set.
Okay. And I did see that recently the league was accepted as a
apprentice league.
Apprentice league in the Women's
great.
Flat Track Derby
Yeah, we're really
Association.
thrilled about that. Yeah.
I know you guys have been working towards that for some time now. So,
yeah.
Now, what do you have to do then to become a full-fledged member?
Well, there are certain requirements. I, as a member of the team, I don't have all of those skills that that we have to go through. Our trainers are more informed on that information, but I know that we have to have a league that kind of grooms us. So we have to do a certain amount of bouts that are like, I guess you would say like transition bouts that would be apprentice, like they would have to be approved through the WFDA organization as like said set bouts that would be, like how we went about doing it the correct way and so forth. There's like certain rules that we have to follow. We have to do certain things certain ways, and they give us the guidelines to go through that process.
Excellent. Now tell me a little bit about the aggressive side of roller derby, because you're not just out there skating around in circles. There's how many skaters at a time on each team?
There's 5 from each side.
Okay, and there's different positions.
There's a block. There's a jammer, and there's 4 blockers.
Okay,
I'm a blocker.
Okay, and it's interesting because you're out there kind of on offense and defense all at the same time, right?
Exactly.
You're trying to get the jammer around the track.
Yeah, you want to get your jammer through, but at the same time, you want to prevent the other jammer from coming through. You're creating a wall as blockers and you're trying to prevent that jammer from the other team from getting through and scoring points.
Okay, and that's like the ultra simplified version of roller derby. So when it came time for you personally to get out there and really start mixing it up with the other skaters, how did that go for you at first?
At first, I was terrified.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think every girl has that, like, weak in the knees, I want to puke feeling. Some do, I'm sure. Yeah. There's garbage cans, off the track that are nearby that get a lot of use, I'm sure. But, once that adrenaline gets going, you kind of forget about those nerves and you just kick it into gear.
Had you done any physical athletics before this?
I played Little League when I was like 9.
Okay.
But other than that, no.
That didn't really have anything to do with...
No, I did figure skating a little bit, but I didn't really do anything competitively.
Yeah.
And it's funny because I never really knew I was competitive until I really started doing this. And there's times where I catch myself and I'm like, you need to reel it in. That's just not appropriate. We were at a scrimmage the other night at Ileana out in Linwood.
Okay.
And there was a situation where I was blocking a jammer, and she went off the track and came back on, which is called a cut. And she didn't get called, and it really, really pissed me off. And I was like, hey, that's cutting. And I caught myself doing that, and I was like, who are you? When did you become this person? And I had to tell myself to just calm down. That's why we have referees, and that's their job to do that. And there's other times where, I find myself on the bench just screaming like a mad woman, and it's just, I have to look at myself and go like, this is the same person that at home I'm the mom with these 2 kids, that I'm telling to stop fighting, calm down. We don't talk to each other that way. And here I'm on the bench screaming, and I'm on the verge of swearing at people, and it's just wow, talk about Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde.
So if, so say that lady in the park that you met, if you had to tell her what roller derby has given you in terms of, new experiences and new skills, what would you tell her?
Well, skills, strength, endurance, just time management, athleticism, in terms of confidence. You know, one of my goals this season was to say, to stop saying I can't and start saying I'll try. Just the amount of people I've met, the amount of women I've become friends with, not even just women, but even through like the referees and men's derby, just the people I've met and the networking. It's just has been amazing for me. You know, my Facebook page has quadrupled since I started derby. It's just amazing to me how many people I've met, and it's been a great experience for me.
Would you say that there's an element of empowerment that,
absolutely,
that you get from
absolutely.
derby?
You know, as a mom, and I, you know, with 2 kids, it's pretty cool for me from when my kids are like, yeah, my mom plays derby, or, you know, my mom's on Aurora 88. There was a time we were at a restaurant, and another woman who I knew through Derby Light came up to me. She's like, hey, we haven't seen you at Derby Light. Where have you been? And my son's like, she's on the 88s now. You know, and he was like proud of me, and it was so freaking cool. It was like such a cool experience.
How did your family react when they came to see you for the first time?
Well, I have a giant family. I'm one of 14 kids.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. So they've kind of been coming in stages.
Okay.
You know, not to mention like all the nephews and nieces and, you know, but.
Did you just say 14?
I did say 14. I'm the youngest.
You're the youngest of 14.
Yeah. My parents are crazy. And 3 of us were adopted. So, you know, that even on top of that is in and of itself absurd.
So you've had some hand-me-downs over the years.
Oh, yeah. Gosh, let me tell you about some hand-me-downs. But, you know, overall, I think my family thinks I'm nuts, and they thought it was kind of like a midlife crisis situation for me.
Yeah, because ladies don't do these kinds of things.
Yeah, my mom
right?
still like says things to me like, so how's that skating thing that you do? What is that thing again? What is that skating thing? You know, and she'll call me when I'm at practice and be like, oh, you know, you must be at that skating thing you're doing. She has no idea what I do. But for the most part, you know, my husband's super supportive and is encouraging, and, you know, likes to be involved, and, you know, like my kids like to come on, they want to do road trips and things like that. So it's been a really positive experience for my whole family.
Excellent. Let's talk about what the 88s are up to now. You've got some events coming up here. Is this the travel season or is it?
Yeah,
okay.
We just started. We had a fundraiser bout in March, which was pretty cool. But we do have our first bout of the season, which is our Super Friends bout coming up on Sunday, which is a mixer bout, and we've invited a lot of our friends from different leagues to come and skate with us. So it's not just the 88s, but it's also ladies from like the DuPage Derby Dames, the Vixens, Windy City Rollers, as well as Ileana Derby. We've got everybody coming. I mean, it's going to be great. And so we have 4 teams that are going to be competing throughout the evening, and it's just going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, and for those of you watching and listening who haven't been to a bout, a roller derby bout, there's a little something for everybody there.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, obviously the main event is the skating.
Yeah.
And you know, like we said, there are 5 skaters from each team. There's a lot happening on the track. There's
fast.
like a million refs skating around.
Yeah.
It can be a little bit confusing for a first timer.
Yeah, it really can. But our announcers do a really nice job of explaining things. They keep it lively. We have a new DJ this year who's going to keep the music flowing. It's a lot of fun. It's a really lively event. This first one is going to be super fun, just because there's going to be so many different skaters of different levels. So that in and of itself is really unique, and I think it's going to be really interesting to see. Okay.
And then in addition to the skating, are you guys still doing Kids Corner as far as the kids' activities?
No,
or?
We did at the last event, but at this event we aren't. At this event, we're going to be having some animals, some dogs. As one of our charities, we are going to be having, and I'm sorry, at this point I can't remember the name of it, but one of our charities is bringing in dogs from one of our rescues as an opportunity to for our public and for our fans to have an opportunity to meet some of our rescues. So there will be live dogs at our event.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, so that's going to be pretty neat.
So, and this is a good time then to segue into some of the off-track activities, because the 88s aren't just about practicing and bouting, right?
Yeah, we do a lot of neat stuff in the community.
Yeah.
Well, we are, as a team, required to do 2 hours of what we call street teaming or community service every month. But I think a lot of our teammates go above and beyond that. We're all on a committee. Like, I'm on sponsorship committee. Stella's head of the fundraising events committee. There's our training committee, there's our marketing committee. So everybody has a job. But beyond their jobs, we do different events. Like you mentioned earlier, we have Mutual Ground. That's one of our major community activities that we do. We love that. We love them. We spend a lot of time with them. A lot of the events that we do, we end up collecting, donations for them, charitable, monetary, whether it be like soaps, clothing, things like that for them. We like to help that organization because they're near and dear to us.
Right, and that kind of goes hand in hand with the empowerment that you guys are experiencing through the league.
Yeah,
you're trying to help those families at Mutual Ground as well. Let's see, and I know you guys do a lot of skating parades and things like that. And
yeah, we're going to be in the 4th of July parade as well as the Memorial Day parade.
Nice.
Last year I did the Memorial Day parade as a marshal, which kind of was fun. We just kind of stood on the sides and just made sure that nobody got in the way of the parade, which was, it was kind of fun.
You guys were the muscle.
Yeah, I was like, step back, I got this.
I'll put you down.
I will too. And, and my kids were there with me, so it was kind of fun for them, and they got to watch the parade. So everybody was involved. But it's just easy stuff. We can be involved without, doing anything really super hard. And, we're making our presence known, and, we get to get our name out there, and it's nice that we can be helpful to the community as well as getting our name into the community.
Yeah, I think that's almost as important as the bouts is the fact that you guys are choosing to look for organizations that you can help as well.
Yeah.
And, I think that shows a lot of heart. And,
well, I think the girls, we like to do stuff. It's not just about the pub crawls and,
Well, there is that part, too.
That stuff is fun.
There's the partying.
Don't get me wrong. Yeah. Partying is fun. And we like to meet people at those kind of activities as well, because a lot of people don't know that roller derby even still exists. Yeah. So when we're like wearing our roller derby shirts, they're like, hey, what's roller derby? They're like, oh my gosh, that's the thing of the 70s. And we're like, wait, back up. No, it's still happening. It's really a big surprise for a lot of people. But, we go out into the community and, you get a whole new group of fans based on just some of our charity events. So it's kind of nice.
And the bouts are at the Aurora Skate Center, right, on Montgomery Road, down there by Phillips Park. And they're very reasonable as far as entrance.
Yes.
Right?
It's $12, and then it's $10 if you buy ahead of time. If you go on our website, you can usually find the link for that, the brown paper tickets. Also, kids under the age of 12 are free, which is nice.
Yeah.
That's actually one of the reasons I picked the Aurora 88s, because I knew with my kids, they could, run around. There wasn't any, busy traffic outside. And it's a very family-friendly environment. So.
Yep, and so we mentioned your website a couple of times. That is at Aurora88s.com. That's Aurora88s.com.
Yeah, no hyphen. And we're also on Facebook. Come like our page, because we like when you like us.
Aurora 88s Roller Derby is where we can find you on Facebook. Anything else that we need to cover? We did say that the next event, your Super Friends bout, is going to be this coming Sunday, April 12th. And make sure you get your tickets online for that. What else can we expect the rest of this season? Let's see. We've got our photo here on our Facebook event. We've got one coming up in June. against the Bone City Rollers. Where are they from? Bone City. I'm not familiar with that location.
I'm not either. I don't.
That sounds pretty cool, though.
Sometimes when we post, and I should know that, and I feel awful that I don't.
Oh, no,
because now
don't
they're
feel
gonna be
bad.
like, that pun intended. We're gonna get her. She doesn't know us. But sometimes when I see like the name, I don't recognize it without like seeing their logo.
Well, like the Mad Rollin' Dolls coming up here on July 18th. That's Madison, right? Madison, Wisconsin.
Yeah,
I think.
and then there was a funny story where we were talking within our league, and somebody kept saying the DDD team, and I was like, "Who's DDD?" Well, it was DuPage Derby Dames. I should know that. They're like right in our in our backyard, and I know so many of those girls, but I kept referring to them as the DuPage Derby Dames, not the DDD.
DDD.
But we have a lot of nice surprises coming up. There's going to be a nice. We're going to be getting a facelift coming up here with the Aurora 88s that I think a lot of our fans
The
are going to
logo.
be.
I've got my 88s shirt on, by the way.
Yeah, and I'm wearing mine.
Yes,
Hello.
and you've got your track jacket on.
My pun intended. But I think our fans are going to be pleasantly surprised when they see our surprise logo coming up.
So, keep your eyes peeled for that. I'll have to upgrade and get the new shirt.
Yeah.
And support the 88s. I think you guys are doing a fabulous
Support
job.
all local roller derby.
Yeah, but 88s especially.
Especially us.
Yeah.
Definitely. Especially us, because we like when you support us so that we can travel.
Yeah. What? Tell me. Give me one crazy story about going out of town with the 88s.
You know what? Ironically, this is going to be my first season traveling.
Oh, okay.
So you
haven't
I
been yet?
did. I mean, I've done some like local travel. This is my second season with the 88s, but beginning of the first season I was sick, so I missed out on a lot of the travel season. So I heard stories. I don't know that I'm privy to repeat a lot of those stories. But so this year I will definitely check back with you and bring you some good stories. But I'm gonna have to let some of those stories be firsthand experience for somebody else.
Okay, yeah, that's fair. We don't want to out anybody as far as
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
Sharing things we don't need to be sharing. But would you go so far as to say that the 88s like to have a good time?
Yeah, and I will go this far. I am one of the more I won't say older skaters. I'll say experienced in life skaters with kids.
Yeah.
And some of our younger skaters don't have kids, so they're a little more relaxed and feel like less likely to set bad examples. So they're not as worried about it, And I tend to bring my kids with me, like to the after parties and things like that. So, so some of my experiences might not be the same as some of the other skaters.
Yeah. You feel like you're maybe a mother figure to some of the other skaters, or maybe a big sister?
No, yeah, let's just say I could be a mother to some of the other skaters in age, but yeah, I try not to be a mother to other skaters because
Well, that's no fun.
Yeah, it really wouldn't be, but some of them I could definitely be their mom in age.
So, but yeah, you said 18 and up.
18 and up, yeah, and our oldest skater is nearing 50, so we have quite the range.
Excellent.
Yeah.
And so it's probably like a big sisterhood then, right?
It's amazing. It's just amazing how, it's you get a lot of women together in the same room with all that estrogen. You think it would be a big hen fest, and it really isn't.
Yeah.
It's amazing how much love is in one room. It's, at the same time, everybody looks out for each other. Right now, we have a couple of hurt skaters, and everybody's kind of rallying behind them to make sure that they have what they need. It's very cool.
Well, we certainly wish you and the rest of the 88s a healthy and fun season, and we encourage you at home to at least follow them on Facebook or sign up for what, do you guys send out newsletters or anything like that? Email newsletters?
We do a lot of Facebook. One thing I know that we definitely need to be saying right now is our bout coming up. We're still looking for volunteers.
Okay.
What
kind of jobs are we looking for?
I think we're looking for security still.
Security?
Basically just standing at the door, making sure that we don't have any riffraff. But yeah, we're always looking for volunteers. You get to come in for free. You get to watch some cool derby for free. At all of our bouts, we're always looking for volunteers. Just hit us up on our Facebook page. And you might get some free pizza out of the deal. I don't know.
All right.
I mean, that could be a benefit, but
So
always.
that's another way of becoming a part of the 88s family.
We're always looking for our volunteers. So.
And you said earlier you're still looking for skaters as well, right?
Always.
What's the best way for someone who's out there thinking, hey, I might need to sign up for this?
Same thing on our Facebook page. Just hit us up.
Okay, excellent. So, pun intended.
Pun intended.
Thank you so much for joining us on the show today.
Thank you for having me.
And once again, we will reiterate the website, Aurora88s.com, Aurora88s.com, and the Aurora 88s Roller Derby on Facebook. And get out there and support your local roller derby league. Thank you. Thank you so much. And get well soon to Storm and Stella. We'll see if we can get her back next time. And
Feel better, Stella.
yeah. So, and thank you for watching and listening. And you can find us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube. Just search for Fox Valley Voice. My name is Jaime Gutierrez. Thank you so much for tuning in today. And we'd also like to thank the friends of our show, Downtown Auroran Magazine at downtownaurorian.com. Also in Aurora, Bureau Gravity, holistic marketing agency. BataviaLaw.com is where you will find Drendel and Jansen's Law Group. They are our video sponsor. And Neighbors Magazines, published in St. Charles, Geneva, Batavia, and North Aurora. Keep an eye out in your mailbox for that. We will see you next time. Thanks for joining us. Be good.